Recently, Vercel announced next.js 13. In this tutorial, we are going to cover the exciting new features of next.js. So, let's jump into it. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to another video by Simplilearn. This is Anubhav, and in this video, we are going to talk about next.js new features. But before we begin, if you haven't subscribed to our channel already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so you will get all the updates from Simplilearn. So for today's video, we'll obviously use next.js 13, and with that, I'm going to use Tailwind CSS. But before that, if you want to become a software developer, consider the course on Full Stack Developer, Mean Stack by Simplilearn, and master those necessary skills. Check out the link in the description box. Now, I'll tell you how to install the Next.js into your system. The first thing you need to download is Node.js. Just search Node.js download and open this page. Here, you will find two options. Open this link. Here, you will find two options, recommended for most users and latest version. So, we have to download the recommended one. Actually, Node.js is already installed in my system, but I'll show you how to install it. So if you're a Windows user, Apple user, or Mac user, or Linux, or any other user, you can differentiate between them. Okay? Now, when you'll install this Node.js into your system, to check whether it is installed or not in your terminal, you just have to open the terminal and write a command node-v. Okay, let me just show you inside my terminal what you have to write to check. Just write node-v, and this or some other version will come on your screen. And if it shows you version, then it is installed. Cool. Now the next step is you should have a code editor in your system. Like I have Visual Studio Code, so where you can write the code, right? So there are so many code editors available, but my personal favorite is Visual Studio Code, and I recommend this only. After downloading and installing the VS Code, open the web editor, and now we are going to write a command to install Next.js. So I'm going to write npx create next app add latest, and then I'm going to press enter. So it will ask me the project name, so I'm going to write next.js. I'm going to press enter. It's telling me, do I have to add TypeScript in this project? I'm going to say yes. Now ESLint, I'm going to say yes, yes, app directory, okay, and now it will install all the dependencies. So let's wait a couple of minutes while they are installing. So our Next.js is installed in our system. Now let's go to this folder, which is Next.js. Okay, we can't find the version because I have put the space cd Next.js, and I'm inside my folder. Now I'm going to open my folder here. So my folder is inside this only. This is select folder, and my folder is here. Now to install Tailwind in your system, we need to add the command. Let's open the terminal first. You can just press Control and backtick. But it's not opening here. Yeah, opened. Okay. Now write a command npm add Tailwind CSS post CSS and auto fixer prefixer. me just read this command again. Tailwind CSS, post CSS, auto prefixer. Okay, let's press enter and it will again install all the files that we need. Okay, now let's configure Tailwind CSS. For that, write a command px tailwind css init p. Yes, so it is showing me the version this. Fine. Now here I have written this command again to add the Tailwind CSS file. Okay, so this is npx tailwind. Now let's open the file tailwind csconfig.js. Now in this file, in this array content, I'm going to write some lines of code. Just write it. I'm also going to add this file in the description box, so don't worry about the code, just see. Okay, let's add JS. JS is obviously JavaScript, TX and JSX. What is JSX? It is a it is a JavaScript extension. And now I'm going to add TypeScript extension. Right. Okay. Now let's add a comma here. Let's make it inside this line. Yeah, this is good. Now I'm going to add another. Okay. Okay. Now buddy, I'm going to tell you about everything here. So just relax and learn this. This is what I'm going to tell you about the routing and all. Okay. So this is all. Just a minute. Okay. Yeah. Again, TypeScript, JSX, DSX. Yeah. Just save this part again. Now, the next step we are going to do is, after saving this file, I'm going to open my file, which is global.css. Okay. And on the top of this file, I'm going to add tailwind base at tailwind components. So I'll first tell you guys. Okay, adding this in this way at the top is for the configuring tailwind. Okay, so you're just configuring it, the components, the base, and other things. Utilizers after this. And again, tailwind ut. What is this? Let me just zoom it. Utilities. Okay, fine. It's cool. Let's save this file first. See. So this is all you need to do to add. Let's open the file Okay, close this one. Next, config.js, and things look great here. Okay, now let's again open the terminal. Now I'm going to run this file. For that, I'm going to write npm run dev. Press enter, and let's wait a couple of minutes. It's just making our project ready for the running on the server. Let's cut this module download and write localhost. It's making us wait. Let's see if it is compiled. It is compiled successfully. Okay. Now let's open the window. Yeah, it is open. Let's split the file like this. Okay, it's fine. Now we're going to start doing the routing. First, I'm going to tell you about the routing fundamentals. So Next.js introduced a new file system based router built on top of React Server components with support for layouts, nested routing, loading states, error handling, and more. So we are going to first see the main parts of routing. Okay, let's first start with the static page routing. Okay, so first thing that we need to do is let's create in this app directory. Let's name it as okay account, and inside this account I'm going to add one file page.tsx. Okay, inside this I'm going to write export default async function. Then I'm going to write the name of the function which I'm going to add is okay. Let me just let's write simply learn page, and inside this I'm going to create return. Now inside this I'm going to add one div. Let's here write an h1 so you can see it more clearly. Okay, that's wrong. Okay, let's write this one here. Welcome to Simplilearn page. Let's save it. Okay, let me just see everything is right here. Yeah, now let's create another folder inside this app only. Let's create one. Let's name it skill up. Okay, now let's first just copy this thing. Inside this skill up we need to add one file. Again we'll write page.tsx. Okay, now okay, so this file is not created. Again pages dot tsx. Now I'm going to paste that code here also. Here in this name of the function I'm going to change as skill up. write a page. Let's just save this file and let's open this terminal where I'm going to write counts. It is automatically working, right? And as you can see here, it is clearly showing us welcome to Simplilearn page. So this is what a static routing looks like. And I'm going to change from accounts to skill up. Now let's see. Yeah, so this is working fine. Now let's create another folder inside this skill up folder. For that, new folder, and I'm going to write this as ID. Okay, let's just delete this one and have inside the brackets. Now let's see, it's coming like that only. Okay, let's leave this one and let's create another folder called ID inside this. Now let's do the dynamic routing. For that, inside this app folder, we'll create another folder. Let's name it product. Okay, products. Now inside this product, I'm gonna add one more folder which is ID in the brackets. So what these brackets is doing is which is helping us to do the dynamic routing. Okay, so let's create a page. Now we are going to create a file. Let's name it page.tsx once again, and inside this I'm gonna write a short nsfc. Okay, it's not the right one, so let's just delete this and write here export and fold async function. Let's name it product page. Okay, let's just, because we have done in every file, the name is this the product page. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add this prems in the curly brackets, so the function fetches it. Let's just give it some space. Let's just, okay, fine. Let's create a constant of id and yeah dot id. I'm going to show you how to do the dynamic routing in a page. So let's return here again. We're going to write div. Okay, so okay, this is not inside the curly brackets. I'm going to remove the curly brackets from here. Now it's fine. Yeah, okay. Here I'm going to write this is a Simplilearn course page, and with the ID that is required. Okay, now save it and let's go to the Chrome, and here I've put products. Okay, so enter, but this is the error that I'm getting. You must all will be getting this error. This is all because I haven't did this. Okay, let's save this. I think it's working fine now. No, so let's just add the number 10. So it is showing this is Simplilearn course page ID, which is I have written 10. So this is Simplilearn's course page 10. Okay, so this is what a dynamic programming look like. This is how the dynamic routing works. You can use it whether with parameter or ID, okay, or arguments. You pass that in the routes with the retrieve or the relevant of the corresponding data. Okay, in this case, it was the ID. Now, let's move ahead. Now, let's see the next part, which is nested layout. So, what I'm gonna show you is, let's write here next.js features, and I'm gonna open the page, and here you will just see this line. Next.js has all the tools you need to make the web faster. Okay, just got back. Yeah, so it first thing is client and server rendering. Okay, okay, the next one is nested routing, data fetching, built-in optimization, TypeScript support, API routes, middleware, Node.js and Edge runtimes, CSS support. This all come under Next.js with the help of React. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to study about the nested layouts. Okay, after that we'll learn about client and server rendering, and then streaming UI and suspense on the server. Then we'll study data fetching and then API routes. Okay, let's move ahead onto our code. Now, for nested layout, now a React model allows us to deconstruct a page into a series of components like we have created here. Okay, and many of these components are often used between pages. Like I have created one page here and I have created one page, this one page here. Okay, I have created few pages like this. Okay, so these are the components that often used for the pages. Like for example, you might have the same navigation bar and footer on every page, right? If I'll create one web page and there are so many other web pages inside that, like for products and for the one that product specific product, and like that only the footer should be same in every uh, page. So for that we use nested layouts. So this is how Next.js leverage on nested layout. Okay, so let's talk about the client and server side components. This topic is the widest and the most talked about. Now, let's just okay, first let me give you an example. If you know React, you must have worked on the client side projects or client components. Okay, okay, just let me give you an example, or let's create a folder. Inside this app, I'm gonna create a folder. Let's name it as, let's write here home, right? Here I'm gonna write new page.tsx. Here I'm gonna write export default async function. Name this page as home page, and inside the parameter I'm gonna cut this because I'm not gonna put the parameters right now. Let's return again. I'm gonna add one div here, and here I'm gonna write in h1 tag, this is a home page. Let's save it, and inside this let's check this one. Okay, this is a home page, right? So till now this is what we have discussed earlier also, right? Now I'm gonna write the client component. Inside this home file folder, I'm again gonna create another file. Let's name this file as not pages, just name it as course dot tsx. Okay, now let's import React. Let's first just create one and export default. Let's just write the basic structure here first. Okay, okay. Let's hear the no name here. I'm gonna write return div. Okay, till now I'm not doing anything new. Now here I'm gonna write use state. We create real-time applications like this only. So inside this, create a constant count, set count. Okay, let's use this use state. Inside this, let's write numbers only, but the n should not be capital now. Let's write 0. Okay, let's save it. And here inside this div, I'm gonna create another div. Let's write this is the course count. Course count. Okay. After that, here I'm gonna write count. Okay. And now I'm gonna create the div for button. Okay. Now I'll write here add button. I'm gonna create, and inside this I'm gonna write on click function, which will set not capital no set count. Okay, as I'm gonna show you, COET count plus 1. So I have declared one function here. What this is doing is it is counting plus 1 again and again, right? And here we'll need our arrow function, right? Let's declare it here. The escort, yeah, this looks good. Let's just cut this one here so I can see this. Now let's save this file first, and then let's go back to this inside the home one. I'm gonna write here like this. Let's close it. Okay, and after that I'm gonna write a client component here that we have just created, course. Okay, let's import that here only. Okay, let me just see here what's the issue. Let's import course from course. Okay, let's just save it, and it will showing us an error that we can't use the use state. So we are only using the component of client here. So that's the reason we are getting the. So to remove these kind of errors, what you have to do is open your page, and here I'm gonna declare use client. Let's now save it, and you can see it is working fine, right? Awesome. So the error that we saw earlier was because after next.js 13 version, all the server components are run on the app directory on our server component by default. Okay, so let's move forward. So this is how the, so let's check. Yeah, it's working fine. So this is a client component. Okay. Server and client component allow developer to build applications that span the server and client. Combination the rich interactivity of client-side apps with the improved performance of traditional server rendering. This page that we have just now created has the server and client components and how to use them in next application. This is what I have explained you. Okay. Now, let me just tell you what client components are in the end. So, client component enable you to add client-side interactivity to your application. In Next.js, they have prevented on the server and hydrate on the client. You can think of client component as how just Next 12, like uh, you can just think of just client components as how Next.js 12 and previous versions worked. Okay. Now, talk about server components. Server components allow developer to build leverage server infrastructure. For example, leverage dependencies that previously would impact the JavaScript bundle size on the client side instead remain entirely on the server, leading to improved performance. When a route is loaded with Next.js, the initial HTML is rendered on the server. The HTML then progressively enhances the browser, right? Allowing the client to take over the application and add interactivity by asynchronously, like we did here. Okay, so by this, additional JavaScript is only added as client-side interactivity is used in your application through client components. Now, I'm going to tell you about why to use server versus React component. The server components are best because it fetches data, and it is better than client components because it accesses backend resources, and server components are best because it keeps information sensitive on the server, like access tokens, API keys, etc. are comes under server components. But add interactivity and event listeners like on click, on change that we have just done here. One on click. Okay. This is a client component, and in client component we can use browser only APIs. We can also use custom hooks that depends on state, effects, or browser only APIs. We can also use React class components, right? Okay, let's move ahead now. We'll talk about data fetching. Data fetching in Next.js allows you to render your content in different ways, depending on your application use cases. These includes pre-rendering with server-side rendering or static regeneration and updating or creating content at runtime with incremental static regeneration. Now, we'll see what comes into this Next.js. So, if you want to use the fetch function, you can just write anywhere, like let's see, if here I'll create one. Okay, let me just give you an example. If I'm here writing, let me just find one file. Okay, so where we can add this part. Okay, let's add it here in the term. Okay, so if we'll write, we have to fetch data. We'll write const source await function. In this await function, we'll write fetch, and then in the parenthesis with the backtick, I'm going to give, like, for example, I'm here opening Simplilearn, and here just let me add one video inside link here. Okay, let's open this one, and let's copy the URL and paste it here. Okay, so after pasting this one, let me just close this. Okay, so it's showing two level up because we are not using any parenthesis, any other functions with this. So we'll add the parenthesis of the video, like from where to where we have to, I want to fetch this one or everything. So let me just give you the brief about it. Just a second. So let's open this one first. Okay, so here inside the backend, I'm going to declare one key. Declare one key here with the $sign in the curly brackets. I'm going to write key. I'm passing the key here. Okay, after that I'll write and then I'll write part which I want to snip. Again $sign, curly brackets, and the part snippet. Okay, right here. Okay, and the video ID I'm gonna declare here. So again I'm gonna add the $sign and then curly bracket starts. Okay, that is the and video ID. You should be capital like this. Start. Yeah. So here we'll write video ID. Right. Now again we'll add the comma here and we'll declare the next.js revalidate function. For that, let's write next valid curly bracket starts revalidate, and then we'll add the number from where to where. So I have added 30 here. Okay, and then let's close this. Right. So this is how we add the data fetching function. Now I have to fetch this also. This is what I have declared here, right? I have to fetch this also. So for that, I am going to write if, let me give you, okay. So if this resource that we have just now declared const, this is dot okay, then throw new error, and we'll write the error that it should throw when it get failed. So fail to fetch data. Right. Now if not, it will return resource dot text. Okay. Yes. So this is the function how we can fetch the data, right? Now, okay, let's move ahead on data fetching, client server. Let's now move ahead to API routes. Middleware is done. Let's talk about API routes, okay? Okay. Now, let's create another file, okay? And let's name it as hello.ts, okay? No, but before that, I'm going to tell you what API routes are. So API routes provides a solution to build your API with next.js, okay? Any file inside the folder is mapped to API and can treat it as API endpoint instead of a page. So I'm going to show you right here how to use that, okay? So for example, let's import the files first. I'm going to import type is one API next. Yes, this one. Okay, let's cut it. Next is coming. Okay, let's cut this one. Okay, we can just this, because we need one more API, which is next response. Next API response from next.js. Right now, I'm gonna add here type of the data. That's right, type data equals to, which is, let's name it type string. Fine. Now we'll export the handler function. Export handler. Okay. No, not this parenthesis. We need straight brackets. Yeah. Now we'll request for API request. Then we'll write response, and then we'll response next API response, and then data, which is string name string. Okay, let's close this one, and then here I'm gonna declare response status. So I'm going to declare 300 or 3000, anything. Then JSON, where I'm gonna write name. Okay, so I'm gonna declare my name here as Anubhav. Okay, but it should come under parentheses, so that's why it's coming an error. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Right, Simplilearn. So time to check whether our API is fetching here or not. This is compiled successfully. Let's save this file also. Okay, let's cut it from here. Let's run this file and see that our file is working or not. Okay, first we'll write API / hello. So let's click it and see. Yeah, it's fetching name Simplilearn. So you can write anything to fetch the API. So the request and response is, I have told you earlier also, it is a incoming message to the server, and request is plus some pre-built middlewares, and response is an instance for server response plus some helper functions. Okay, so finally I would say next.js is great when you want a static website with many updates. So with this, we have reached the end of this video, guys, on what is next.js tutorial. For more videos like this, please subscribe to Simplilearn. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay safe and keep learning.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.